Hello, my wonderful English learners. Welcome back to our storytelling classroom. Today, I have a heartwarming story about family, adventure, and sticking together when things get difficult. But first, let me ask you something. When you think about your family, what makes you feel happy? Is it eating meals together, playing games, going on trips? Family time is special, isn't it? Today, I want to tell you about the Smith family, a family of 5 who live in a busy city but always make time for each other. They have something that many families wish for. They truly enjoy being together. Heartwarming. This means causing feelings of happiness and love. This is a story about a family hiking trip that didn't go according to plan. But sometimes, when things go wrong, that's when we discover what's really important. Sometimes, the best adventures are the ones we never expected. According to plan, this means happening the way you expected or arranged. Are you ready to meet the Smith families and join them on their unforgettable adventure? The Smith family lives in a cozy house on Maple Street, in the bustling city of Riverside. Their house is filled with laughter, love, and the sound of busy family life. Cozy. This means comfortable and warm, making you feel at home. Bustling. This means full of activity and movement. Let me introduce you to each member of this special family. There's Mr. Smith, the father, who works hard during the week but always has time for his children. He loves helping them with their school bags each morning and reading them bedtime stories. Mrs. Smith is the mother who takes care of everyone and always makes sure the family eats healthy, delicious meals together. She has a beautiful garden and knows everything about plants and animals. Then there are the 3 children, each with their own special personality. Emma is the oldest child. She's responsible and caring, always making sure her younger brother and sister are safe and happy. Emma is like a little mother to her siblings. Responsible. This means reliable and taking care of your duties. Siblings. This means brothers and sisters. Michael is the middle child, and he's full of energy. He loves to tell jokes and make everyone laugh. Michael can turn any ordinary moment into something fun and exciting. Full of energy. This means very active and lively. Little Lily is the youngest, and she's the apple of everyone's eye. She has infectious laughter and boundless curiosity about everything around her. Apple of everyone's eye. This means someone who is loved and treasured by everyone. Infectious laughter. This means laughter that makes other people want to laugh too. Boundless curiosity. This means unlimited interest in learning about things. Oh, and I can't forget Whiskers, their fluffy cat, who watches over the family like a furry guardian angel. Fluffy. This means soft and covered with fur or hair. Every morning in the Smith house is a buzz of activity. Mr. Smith helps the children pack their school bags, while Mrs. Smith prepares a nutritious breakfast. Everyone has their role, and everyone helps each other. Buzz of activity. This means a lot of busy movement and energy. Nutritious. This means healthy and good for your body. But the weekends are when the magic really happens. This is when the Smith family dedicates time to being together and creating memories. Dedicates time. This means chooses to spend time on something important. They have picnics in the park where they spread a blanket under the trees and share homemade sandwiches. They visit the local museum and learn about history and science together. And on rainy evenings, they have movie nights at home with homemade popcorn. Homemade. This means made at home, not bought from a store. One Friday evening, as the family was finishing dinner, Mr. Smith had an idea. "How would everyone like to go hiking tomorrow?" he asked with excitement in his voice. Hiking, this means taking a long walk in nature, usually in mountains or forests. The children's eyes lit up with joy. They had been to local parks, but they had never been on a real hiking adventure in the forest. Eyes lit up. This means became bright and excited. "Where will we go, Dad?" asked Emma, already thinking about what they would need to pack. "Pine Ridge Trail," Mrs. Smith suggested. "I've heard it has beautiful views and interesting plants and animals to see along the way." Trail, this is a path through natural areas that people can walk on. Michael jumped up from his chair. "Will we see bears or wolves or maybe a dragon?" he asked with his usual enthusiasm. Enthusiasm means great excitement and interest. Everyone laughed at Michael's imagination. Lily clapped her hands together and said, "I want to see butterflies and pretty flowers." Mrs. Smith smiled at her youngest daughter. "I'm sure we'll see lots of beautiful things, sweetheart." The family spent the evening planning their adventure. They decided what to pack: sandwiches, fresh fruit, and plenty of water for the day ahead. "We should bring a map," said Emma, always thinking practically. "And a first aid kit," added Mrs. Smith. "And my superhero cape," declared Michael, making everyone laugh again. First aid kit is a box with bandages and medicine for small injuries. That night, each family member went to bed excited about their upcoming adventure. Even Whiskers seemed to sense the excitement, purring contentedly as he watched the family prepare. Upcoming means happening soon. Sense means to feel or understand something. Contentedly means in a satisfied and peaceful way. If you're enjoying the Smith family story so far, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe so you can learn English through stories with us. Saturday morning arrived with bright sunshine and clear blue skies. The perfect day for a family adventure. The Smith family loaded their car with backpacks, snacks and water bottles. Whiskers watched from the window, his tail swishing as if he wished he could join the adventure too. Loaded. This means put things into something, like putting luggage in a car. Swishing. This means moving back and forth smoothly. As they drove through the city and into the countryside, the children pressed their faces against the car windows, watching the landscape change from buildings to trees. Countryside. This means rural areas with farms, forests and small towns. Landscape. This means the natural features of an area, like mountains, trees and rivers. "Look," shouted Lily, pointing excitedly. "The trees are so tall!" Michael started making up songs about their adventure, singing silly lyrics that made everyone giggle. Silly lyrics. This means funny, playful words in a song. Giggle. This means to laugh quietly in a happy way. After an hour of driving, they arrived at the entrance to Pine Ridge Trail. There was a wooden sign with a map showing the different paths through the forest. Mr. Smith studied the map carefully. This trail should take us about 3 hours to complete, with beautiful views at the end. Studied. This means looked at carefully to understand. Complete. This means to finish. Mrs. Smith checked that everyone had their water bottles and that their shoelaces were tied properly. Emma held Lily's hand and said, "Stay close to me, little sister. We're going to take care of each other today." Michael pretended to be a brave explorer, marching ahead and calling back, "Follow me, family! Adventure awaits!" Explorer. This is someone who travels to discover new places. Adventure awaits means exciting experiences are coming. The family began their hike on the forest trail, chatting and laughing as they walked deeper into the woods. The air smelt fresh and clean, and they could hear birds singing in the trees above. Woods. This means a forest or area with many trees. Mr. Smith led the way with his map, making sure they stayed on the right path. Mrs. Smith pointed out different plants and animals along the trail, teaching the children about nature. "Look, children," she said, stopping beside a large oak tree. "This tree is probably over 100 years old. Imagine all the seasons it has seen." Oak tree. This is a type of large, strong tree that can live for many years. Emma walked carefully, making sure Lily didn't trip on any roots or rocks. Michael explored every interesting log and boulder they passed. His curiosity led him to discover insects and unusual plants. Trip. This means to fall because your foot hit something. Roots. These are the parts of trees that grow underground. Boulder. This is a very large rock. For the first 2 hours, everything went perfectly. The family was happy, the weather was beautiful, and they were enjoying their time together in nature. As they continued along the trail, Mrs. Smith noticed something concerning. "Look at those clouds," she said, pointing to the sky. Dark clouds were gathering on the horizon, and the wind was starting to pick up. "Maybe we should head back to the car," suggested Emma, always thinking about safety. But before they could make a decision, thunder rumbled in the distance like a giant drum. Michael's eyes went wide with excitement rather than fear. "Cool! A real thunderstorm!" Little Lily moved closer to her parents, but she wasn't scared. She was curious about the changing weather. Mr. Smith looked at his map and then at the darkening sky. "The car is about an hour's walk back, but there's a shelter area about 15 minutes ahead. Let's keep moving forward." The family walked more quickly now, but they weren't panicking. They stayed together and encouraged each other. "We're doing great, everyone," said Mrs. Smith calmly. "Just a little adventure weather." But before they could reach the shelter, the sky opened up. Rain began to fall heavily, soaking the family from head to toe in just a few minutes. "Quick, under that big tree," called Mr. Smith, pointing to a large oak tree with thick branches. The family huddled together under the tree, trying to stay as dry as possible. But they were already quite wet, and the rain showed no signs of stopping. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more family adventure stories in English. As the rain poured down around them, something wonderful happened. Instead of complaining or being upset, the Smith family found ways to make the best of their situation. Poured down, this means rained very heavily. Make the best of means find positive aspects in a difficult situation. Little Lily was the first to find joy in their predicament. She stuck out her tongue to catch raindrops and giggled when they tickled her nose. Predicament, this means a difficult or unpleasant situation. Stuck out her tongue, this means pushed her tongue outside her mouth. Tickled means caused a light, pleasant sensation. "The raindrops taste like sky water," she announced, making everyone laugh despite being wet. Despite, this means even though or in spite of. Michael, never one to let an adventure become boring, decided to pretend he was a superhero. "Don't worry, family," he declared dramatically. "Super Michael will protect you from the storm." He spread his arms wide like he was wearing a cape and stood in front of his sisters. Declared dramatically, this means announced in an exaggerated, theatrical way. Emma wrapped her arms around their younger siblings and said, "We're all superheroes today. We're brave and we're together." Lightning streaked across the sky, followed by a loud clap of thunder. But instead of being frightened, the family counted the seconds between the lightning and thunder. Lightning, this is the bright flash of light during a thunderstorm. Streaked means moved quickly across. Clap of thunder, this is a sudden, loud sound that comes after lightning. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, they counted together. Mrs. Smith used this as a teaching moment. She said, "The storm is moving away from us. We can tell because the time between lightning and thunder is getting longer." Teaching moment, this is an opportunity to help someone learn something. Mr. Smith pulled his family closer and said, "You know what? This is going to be a story we tell for years. The day we got caught in the rain on Pine Ridge Trail." The rain continued for about 30 minutes, but those 30 minutes were filled with laughter, singing and storytelling. The family shared jokes, made up silly songs about being wet, and played word games. Word games, these are games where you play with language, like rhyming or making up stories. Michael started a game where each person had to say something they were grateful for, even while sitting in the rain. Grateful for, this means thankful for something good in your life. "I'm grateful for this big tree keeping us safe," said Emma. "I'm grateful for my wonderful family," said Mrs. Smith. "I'm grateful for puddles to splash in," said Lily. Puddles, these are small pools of water that form on the ground after rain. Finally, the rain began to slow down, and then it stopped completely. The sun started to peek through the clouds, creating beautiful rays of light in the forest. The Smith family emerged from under their tree, soaked but smiling. Their clothes were wet, their hair was dripping, but their spirits were high. "Well," said Mr. Smith, wringing water from his shirt, "shall we continue our hike?" "Yes," shouted all three children at once. They continued along the muddy trail, their shoes making squelching sounds with each step. But instead of being annoyed by the mud, they found it funny. "Listen to our footsteps," laughed Michael. Squish, squash, squish, squash. Soon all 5 family members were marching in rhythm, making their muddy footsteps into a song. As they walked, the sun grew stronger, and steam began to rise from their wet clothes. The forest smelled fresh and clean after the rain. Mrs. Smith pointed to the plants around them. "Look how the rain has made everything so green and beautiful. The flowers look brighter and the leaves look cleaner." Emma noticed something special. "Look at all the little streams of water running down the rocks. The rain created tiny waterfalls everywhere." After another hour of hiking through the fresh, rain-washed forest, they finally reached the end of the trail. At the end of Pine Ridge Trail, the Smith family was rewarded with one of the most beautiful sights they had ever seen. Rewarded. This means received something good as a result of effort. The trail opened up to a clearing on top of a hill, and spread out below them was a breathtaking view of the entire valley. Clearing. This is an open area in a forest where there are no trees. Breathtaking view. This means a sight so beautiful it's surprising and wonderful. Valley. This is a low area of land between hills or mountains. The sun, which had hidden behind storm clouds earlier, was now shining brightly. It cast a golden glow over the landscape below, making everything look magical. Cast a golden glow. This means created a warm golden light. Magical. This means wonderful, like something from a fairy tale. "Wow," whispered Lily, her eyes wide with wonder. "It's like a painting," said Emma. Michael, for once, was speechless. He just stood there taking in the incredible view. Speechless. This means so amazed you can't find words to say. Taking in, this means looking at and appreciating something. Mr. and Mrs. Smith stood with their arms around each other and their children, feeling grateful for this moment of beauty after their adventurous morning. They sat down on a large flat rock and unpacked their slightly damp sandwiches and fruit. Even though their food was a bit wet from the rain, it tasted delicious because they were sharing it together in such a beautiful place. Damp. This means slightly wet. Delicious. This means having a very pleasant taste. "You know," said Mrs. Smith, looking at her family, "I think getting caught in that storm was the best part of our adventure." "Really?" asked Emma, surprised. "But we got all wet and muddy."
"Yes," smiled Mr. Smith, "but look how we handled it. We stayed together, we helped each other, we found ways to laugh and have fun, even when things didn't go as planned." Handled it. This means dealt with a difficult situation. Michael jumped up with excitement. "And I was a superhero protecting everyone." "Yes, you were," laughed Mrs. Smith. "We were all superheroes today." As they sat enjoying their picnic with the beautiful view spread out before them, each family member felt something special. They felt closer to each other than ever before. Closer than ever. This means having a stronger relationship than before.
As the afternoon sun began to get lower in the sky, the Smith family knew it was time to head back to their car and drive home. Head back, this means to return to where you came from. They packed up their picnic supplies and began the hike back down the trail. Their clothes were mostly dry now, but they were still a little muddy and their hair was a bit messy from the rain. Messy, this means untidy or not neat. But nobody cared about how they looked. They were too happy about the wonderful day they had shared together. On the walk back, they talked about their favorite parts of the adventure. "I loved counting the seconds between lightning and thunder," said Emma. "I loved being a superhero in the storm," declared Michael. "I loved the taste of sky water," giggled Lily. Mrs. Smith said, "I loved watching how brave and caring you all were during the storm." Mr. Smith added, "I loved seeing our family work together as a team." As a team, this means cooperating and helping each other. When they reached their car, they were tired but happy. As they drove home through the countryside, the children shared their adventure with Whiskers, who was waiting by the window when they arrived. "Whiskers, you should have seen us," said Michael. "We were like brave explorers." That evening, as Mrs. Smith prepared dinner, the family continued talking about their hiking adventure. They realized that the storm hadn't ruined their day, it had made it even more special. Ruined, this means destroyed or spoiled. "We learned something important today," said Mr. Smith as they sat around the dinner table. "We learned that we can handle anything as long as we face it together." Emma nodded. "And we learned that sometimes the best adventures are the ones that don't go according to plan." Michael was already planning their next adventure. "Can we go hiking again next weekend? Maybe we'll see a rainbow next time." Rainbow, this is the arc of colours that appears in the sky after rain. Everyone laughed at Michael's enthusiasm and they agreed that they would definitely go on more family adventures together. That night, as the Smith family got ready for bed, each of them felt something special in their hearts. They had started the day planning a simple hiking trip, but they had ended the day with something much more valuable, a deeper understanding of how strong their family bond was. Valuable. This means very important and precious. Family bond. This is the special connection and love between family members. The storm had tested them, but instead of falling apart, they had come together. Instead of complaining, they had found joy. Instead of giving up, they had supported each other. Tested. This means challenged their strength and character. Falling apart. This means breaking down or failing. Mrs. Smith tucked Lily into bed and said, "What did you learn today, sweetheart?" Tucked into bed. This means helped someone get comfortable and ready to sleep. "I learned that storms can be fun when your family is with you," said Lily with a sleepy smile. In his room, Michael was telling his stuffed animals about being a superhero in the forest. Even in his imagination, he was sharing the adventure with others. Stuffed animals. These are soft toys made to look like animals. Emma was writing in her diary about the day. She wrote, "Today I learned that being responsible means not just taking care of others, but also helping everyone find joy, even when things are difficult." Diary. This is a book where you write about your daily experiences and thoughts. Mr. and Mrs. Smith sat together in the living room, thinking about their wonderful family and feeling grateful for the day's adventure. "You know," said Mrs. Smith, "I think that storm was a gift. It showed us how strong we are together. And it gave us a story we'll tell for the rest of our lives," added Mr. Smith. Gift. This means something good that is given to you. As the house grew quiet and everyone fell asleep, Whiskers curled up by the window as if keeping watch over his adventurous family. Keeping watch. This means staying alert to protect someone.
And that, my dear students, is the heartwarming story of the Smith family and their unforgettable hiking adventure. Let me summarize our story. The Smith family, parents, 3 children, and their cat Whiskers, went on a hiking trip to Pine Ridge Trail. When an unexpected storm caught them in the rain, instead of being upset, they found ways to support each other, laugh together, and turn the challenge into a bonding experience. The storm didn't ruin their day. It made their family stronger and closer than ever. Here are 5 key words to remember from today's story. Heartwarming, causing feelings of happiness and love. Huddle together, to gather closely for comfort and warmth. Make the best of, to find positive aspects in a difficult situation. Family bond, the special connection and love between family members. Closer than ever, having a stronger relationship than before. Now, let me ask you, what do you think was the most important lesson the Smith family learned? How can families stay strong when facing challenges together? Remember, the Smith family story shows us that the best adventures aren't always the ones that go according to plan. Sometimes facing challenges together makes families stronger and creates the most precious memories. Thank you for joining me on the Smith family's adventure. If you enjoyed learning English through this touching family story, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and tell me in the comments, what's your favorite family adventure or memory? Until next time, remember that like the Smith family, the strongest families are those who face life's storms together, find joy in simple moments, and always support each other with love and laughter. Keep learning, keep loving, and keep making beautiful memories with the people who matter most to you.